Hi, third graders. So as you know, today for writing, you are working on finding resources in order to find evidence to support your opinion of what you think the best invention is. Now, we know that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of inventions, and they're all incredible. We wouldn't be where we are today without these. So it's really hard to choose one invention. It's even harder to convince someone or persuade someone that you think that the invention that you chose is more important than the invention that they chose. So, in order to do this, we need to use resources. We need to find facts about our invention to show or prove why we think our invention is more important than someone else's. So, today, what I want you to do is either use Epic or if you have another book, in order to find information. So this is going to be your first resource. Tomorrow you will find a different resource. If you don't have a book or if you can't find something on Epic, then you can just go find an article online. That's fine. But I really want you to try and use Epic to choose a book. So I went on Epic, and as you know, I chose the printing press. And if you're wondering what the printing press is, Johannes, let me give you some information. Johannes Gutenberg created this in 1444, and it is a machine that he made that was used to print books, newspapers, magazines, anything that's printed, and it can print 250 words a minute. Now, before they had something similar to the printing press, but the creator of these inventions, they were using ink or actually carving to make letters or numbers or symbols, and they are doing one letter at a time. So you can imagine going from making one letter at a time by hand to using a machine that does it on its own and goes through 250 words a minute. Okay, so now we can finally have access to so much more information. So on Epic, I actually found two books that I liked, and then you can go through, and again, you do not need to read the entire book. Go to the table of contents, pick something, an area that tells about what your invention actually does and how it's helped, and then you can go ahead and go to the page that you want. So if I wanted to talk about the growth of information, it says that that's on page 20. So I could go right here and slide to page 20. And now I could read information about that and take notes on it. So it says it still helps people in the same ways it did 100 years ago. It makes information available to people. Okay, there wasn't access to that all before. I think something that's also really cool is when we think about the printing press, my mind automatically goes to newspapers and books, but it also involves billboards, and it involves street signs, it involves safety signs. So anything that you see that is printed on any type of material, the printing press. Another cool thing was printing in the future. This is also pretty amazing because it's an important, it's an important invention from long ago and making us get to this point. But it's also now creating things for the future, like quickly creating parts for rockets or computers. It said something about soldiers on here, getting like GPS devices made for soldiers. So this printing press machine is allowing us to do those things, which is incredible. It's helping everyone around the entire world. Okay. My other source that I found was a book. This one had a lot more to it. But I thought it said this was great because its greatest influence was on language, religion, education, and politics, which are four really big areas in our world that we hear and talk about and see all the time. And so it changed all of those areas. So I went through, I took like 20 minutes going through, reading, taking notes, and then I organized it into this Google document. And so I can send this to you if this is something that you want. You can just, I'll make a copy of it so you can take, so it's empty for you. Or you can just take notes, whatever you want. But my invention is the printing press, and my first resource is The Printing Press by Rebecca Sabelko. Remember, you want to write this down because when we go write our final draft or our rough draft next week, you need to say, according to the book, The Printing Press, or in the text on page blank it says. So you do want to make sure that you include this information. I thought it was important to put who the inventor was. That's probably something that I'm going to put in the introduction or hook of my paragraph. We probably should shout out the inventor of who created what I think is the most important invention. And then these are my details that I wrote. Now, I was keeping in mind as I wrote this, I need to come up with three big reasons and details to support why my invention of the printing press is the most important. So instead of writing just every single random fact that I thought that was cool or interesting that I found, I tried to keep it organized. I'll tell you what I'm thinking for my star ideas after I go through this. So it made information available to everyone. Before, it was only in Latin, so they would stamp or carve those letters one at a time, and it was only in Latin, and only people who were considered rich back then and powerful and who could read Latin were able to read. Um, so now it was made in all languages, so everyone could read the information and have access to it. So newspapers, magazines, books, okay. For education, it was huge because it taught people how to read when they didn't really have that before. For science, we learned more about astronomy and geography and medical advancements, and you could print pictures. So before you couldn't really print pictures, they would have to be drawn out, and now you can do that. And then I wrote today, like I said, you can advertise through billboards and then even food wrappers. That is all from the printing press and safety signs. And then, like I said, in the future, some really cool things with 3D printing. You can build layers of plastic to create safer food and drink containers. And then you can make parts for cars and rockets and computers a lot faster than we were able to before. So it's really cool to see how the printing press started as like printing just books for people to read and things like that. And now it's going to 3D technology, which is making our world a better place too. So, what I'm kind of thinking for my star ideas, again, I'm just taking notes on what I read, but it's important to keep this in mind. I think my three reasons are going to be the printing press in the past, the printing press today, and the printing press in the future. Because then I can give details about in the past how everyone can read it and they can finally learn how to read and read books, and it was in all languages, because that's really important. We wouldn't be where we are today without that. I think there are a lot of cool things about the present. I said a lot of advertisements, safety signs. If we didn't have these safety signs or advertisements, we wouldn't know a lot about, right? It would be scary driving on the street, or billboards tell me information about different things that I want to know more about. And even books now are, there's new books that are being published all the time so that I can learn more. Okay. And then the future. So it talked about the 3D printing press and how all the amazing things that can come from that. So that's kind of where my head's at right now, because I think those reasons really help me build a good argument as why this is such an important invention. And now I have here too, resource two, title and author. And then tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and find a different resource on an article and then put my details down about that. So we'll go through that tomorrow. Okay. So today your job is to hopefully find a book on Epic. And again, if for some reason there's nothing on your invention on Epic, then go find an article, type it into Google. It's really good when you say for kids so that it's in child friendly language and you can understand it easier, because these things can get a little bit complicated, right? Make sure you include your resource so that when you tell me where you got this information from, you can tell me the name of the book or article that you used. So that's my first resource from Epic, and I hope this was helpful to what you are going to be doing today. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Bye, everyone.